Okay, the tools that we have that we're going to use for this, I have a T-handle screwdriver, which I would suggest using on the jets because the jets are brass. Okay, use a small Phillips head. This is a T-handle, and it's so the other T-handle, you can slide this little shaft out and put it in, right? The most important tool, I guess you could say, guitar string. You use this for cleaning the jets because the hole inside the jets the holes are so small. You have to have something this tiny to fit in. You see how small this is? I mean, this is like it's a 10 gauge string. Some carburetors, actually for these I might have to use a 9 gauge string, so I might have to go get that. I've got a feeler gauge for adjusting the butterflies. I'll show you guys how to do that, but when you adjust the butterflies of the carburetors, if you don't have a vacuum line going to manometers, then you have to kind of be creative. So I've either done it by eye, holding it up to light and adjusting the butterflies to where the same amount of light comes through both of them, or I've done it with a feeler gauge, which is even more accurate than using your eye. Okay, this is a modified screwdriver a little bit. I just sanded down the sides so that I'll be able to slip it down inside the shaft that has the idle jet, right? And this is my little, I might use this, I'm not sure, but this thing comes in handy, a little strong little screwdriver. And then 5/16 high quality companion brand, of course, no, but I don't even know where I got this thing. I've had it for so long. It's the only 5/16 that I have left that I haven't lost. It's one of the ones I lose the most. But alright, so I have the carburetors off. If you're just watching this video, you didn't watch my other video, these carburetors come off a 2004 EX250. Okay, I'm gonna leave these hoses on because I don't want to bother with trying to remember where they came from, and I'm just gonna leave all the hoses on and work around them. I slid these 2 hoses off. They fit here where my thumb is. Okay, now the first thing you're gonna do when you're cleaning these, and the same thing goes with any carburetors, any motorcycle carburetors, this diaphragm side, I'm holding it down with my pinky while I am taking these screws out. Okay, the reason being is that, one, I'm holding the camera with the other hand, but the reason I'm holding down this is it's actually got a spring underneath it that pushes the slide, which is that black thing. That's the slide. Okay, underneath it is a slide diaphragm. I like to keep pressure on it while I'm taking it apart. I'm not even pulling it up, I'm just lifting my finger up. The spring pushes it up. Okay. Now what you don't turn this upside down and dump everything out. Because we're not barbarians taking these things apart. We're taking it apart carefully. We don't want to mess up the diaphragm. You can throw the spring, it doesn't matter, just don't crush the spring. What I do, I usually stick my finger inside the diaphragm and pull up. Whoa, it's stuck. There it goes. If it's stuck, do not, whatever you do, these little diaphragms are $100 a piece depending on the age of your bike. If you mess these up, you're better off just buying another set of carburetors on eBay. Do not pull up on this diaphragm. If you warp that, your bike is not going to run. If you rip it, you're not going to be able to roll on your throttle. It'll die every time. And if you warp it, it's not going to work that well. So just leave that needle in there. You turn it upside down, there's a little thing that falls, that it just fell and hit my finger. Yeah, that goes in first. Okay, it's not the first time I've seen types like that. These are, what are these, Mikuni? Oh, Keihin, Keihin brand. carburetors. So I mean, I've seen this same piece on a lot of other carburetors, but you can't use slides from other carburetors. And these slides look clean. If they have too much buildup on them, like like I showed, it's gonna get stuck. And this is probably the reason why this one wasn't running, why the guy brought it to me, is because this slide is stuck. Okay, but I'm gonna still go through the procedure, cleaning everything. Right. So you take that out. Sometimes there's a washer on this guy, and this one there's not, but sometimes there's a little washer that sits under the seat of this needle. Okay, you don't want to damage the tip of that. What I do, I just put it in this cap, and I put it far away from these chemicals that I'm going to be using, because if those chemicals get on this diaphragm, same thing as ripping it. I'm going to say the same thing that I said when I talked about buying new ones. Whenever you rip it, you're gonna have to buy new ones, because if you warp this thing, it's gonna perform horribly, especially on a 250, which doesn't really perform that well to begin with. So sorry for you 250 owners. I'm kind of yeah, I like the bigger motorcycles, but you look at the tip of this, make sure it's sharp, make sure nobody's taken this out before and damaged it. This goes into the main jet. And the more you roll on the throttle, the more this needle pulls out, because of that diaphragm that we just set to the side to keep chemicals off of it. So this needle gets pulled up by the diaphragm, and then gets pushed back down by the spring. So based on the RPMs of the bike and how much vacuum is going in and how much vacuum is created on the other side of the diaphragm, this needle gets pulled up, which allows more fuel in, which is part of how the carburetor works. Okay, so that's that side. Okay, so I've taken the screws out of, these are the float bowls. This is the float bowl side. Alright, and I hope you got your diaphragms way out of the way, because if you spill fuel on the diaphragms and you don't wipe it off quickly, if you get carburetor cleaner on the diaphragms and you don't wipe it off quickly, then they will get warped and they will hurt your performance. I can't stress that enough. Okay, so don't do it. Just leave the gas away from them. Just put them, if you're really worried about it, don't even put them in the same room. Of course that's a bit extreme, but alright, so I'm taking this off. Okay, these have been worked on. Oh yeah, that's right, I gotta show you guys. Okay, it's not uncommon to find carburetors that have been worked on before, and you see stuff like this. You see the head of this screw? It's not supposed to be a square. It's supposed to be Phillips. It's supposed to look like, there's 4 of these that were like that, so it's supposed to look like this. So it's supposed to be regular Phillips. What I had to do was take some pliers and really squeeze and clamp them down, and then on the side of the head. So I just clamped on the side of the head, just like I were to grab it like this with my thumbs, and I just loose. You still need to be somewhat careful on this side whenever you're messing with these. Okay, you don't want to rip this. These actually still look good. Sometimes I've seen them when they're flat. I've used them flat before and they've still worked, but it is recommended that you change them whenever you take apart your carburetors. So you could buy like a carburetor gasket set. Not much, just get online, try to find some. I can get this stuff out of the way. Right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out these floats, and way to test that they're both opening up like they should. To tilt them back, should see them both open up. Here they are, they're both shifting back at the same time. See if I can get a better view. Right, so here we are, we're turning them back, and they're both moving at the same time. Right, you don't want to see, when you tilt it, you don't want to see one move and the other one not move. It's still, it's not like they're messed up. You can still clean it. You knock out this little pin. You slide out this pin. Now these style, you have to be careful with. The ones where the pin slips in the shoulder. Because these have actually broken off before on older carburetors. It's because it's aluminum. It gets weak after a while. So, pop out the pin. Alright. So that one popped out fine. There's different styles in this. There's styles where you have a screw that's put in the side that just kind of holds this pin in place. Yep, that one came out fine too. Okay, but when we're taking out this, I just want to get this out of the way so I can mess with the jets. I'm pulling this pin out right now if you can't see what my fingers are doing. Alright. So I got this pin out. Okay, you're going to want to clean it. If you have any kind of dirt on it, it's going to it'll keep this from moving, this float, it'll keep it from moving like it's supposed to. Right, and you pull up the float carefully because there's usually a little guy attached to it. You want to clean him too, the little dangling guy. So you'll clean that and make sure it's, it's got a nice pointed tip and it's not disfigured at all. It should be straight and pointed. They're not much. You can buy them. They actually look the same in all the carburetors. I think the only difference is the actual length of them. So, alright, so we're going to get that out of the way. Pull this other guy out carefully. I'm going to set it over there. I kind of like to keep the same pin with the same float. That's me. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But it's good to keep this stuff separated. And you want to be really careful when taking these jets out. I'm going to loosen them up right now, so I'm going to stop the camera so I can have one hand on the carburetors, and because you do not, these are brass. These chip very easy. You don't want to chip it. You don't want to strip it out. You don't want to strip the screws, and when you're putting them back in, you don't want to start putting them in crooked and cross-thread it, because this is brass, which is a soft metal, which is threading in aluminum, which is another soft metal. So be very careful. Be extremely careful when you're taking these jets out, and be just as careful when you're putting them back in. But this one, I believe this top part of the jet threads into this. What was that, 8mm, I guess? 8mm or 5/16, the same thing. It's a standard equivalent to the metric 8mm. They both work interchangeably. So I'm going to loosen these two jets, and then the idle jet should be inside of that hole right here. Right? And then since I have the diaphragms out, I'm going to spray carburetor cleaner into the passageways inside of each of the carburetors, and try to stick my little guitar string in as far as I can to clean that. Okay, don't separate them from each other. It's too hard to put them back together. Just leave them together, work with them side by side. If you have 4 carburetors and you're watching this video, then just don't take them apart. Don't separate all 4 from each other. It's way too hard to put them back together. Okay, so I'm kind of sorry for all the weird angles and weird close-ups on this video. These carburetors, because they have all these hoses, because I left them attached, it's kind of hard to work with. But okay, you see why I modified this screwdriver now. It's because before it wouldn't slip. This is just a cheap little junk screwdriver. I just kind of shaved down the sides of it. I didn't shave down the tip. The tip's still fine, but because I want a screwdriver that's wide enough to get inside of this jet, inside the other jet, it's just got a flat head top. Right, so I'll just put this in there, and you can see it's nice and sturdy. So I'm going to loosen it up. Okay, so this is the idle jet. It wasn't here, right? So I just loosened it up and I pulled it out. You cannot see any light through it when you push it, when you look. Some guys will take a toothbrush and they'll try to stick, the little bristles down inside of it. But you see how deep this thing is? You don't have toothbrush bristles that are that long, right? So that's where the guitar string comes in handy. Put the string through, right? So what I usually do is just kind of spin it around the string. You notice how I just kind of spin it around, right? What you don't do is you don't just keep sticking the string in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, trying to push out what it is, because that creates little scratches inside this jet, which is not good. It'll still run. You'll have to make some other adjustments for it's just not going to idle right, but it'll still run. But so I spin it around and I take it out and I spray carburetor cleaner on it. I take it out, I spray carburetor cleaner on it, and then I stick the string in again, spin it around. But you look through, you can see light through it. I can see light through it better when I'm not, but the hole is so small. The guitar string is the only thing I've ever found that can fit into it. Okay, so you poke that through, spray it with carburetor cleaner, poke it through again, spray, roll it around the string, and then I just spray it through with air, my can of compressed air that I have. If you have an air compressor, that's even better. But then you put the jet back in, and you do it to the other jets. Okay, I've cleaned the jets, and actually when I sprayed the carburetor cleaner through the jets, I sprayed it into the float bowl because I'm going to be spraying carburetor cleaner into there anyway, so I figured I would save it instead of spraying it into a rag or spraying it into somewhere else. I'll just spray it in. So I go through a lot of carburetor cleaner because I do a lot of carburetors. So okay, the next thing we're gonna do is take the guitar string again, and this little jet, you can't take this one out. It's stationary inside the carburetors, right? We'll try to poke it through. It should go through. All of these are different. I don't know how the passages are in all of the carburetors. Right, but they should go through. There it goes. See, this side went through. So that side I've got it going down at least 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. Right, so I've got that. Just a little bit of carburetor cleaner is all you need. Up and down, you know, just clean it out really good. This is where the fuel gets sucked in. As you can see, I turned the carburetors, pointed them down. Alright, now I ended up getting the string through it. I just let some carburetor cleaner sit in that little hole. I just put a couple little drops in, let it sit in the hole, and then I came back and poked it through, and then I just put the after I did that, I made sure I put the little straw that comes out of the top of the carburetor cleaner spray can. I put it on top, flush with the top of that little inlet hole on this side, and I just sprayed in, and you should see fuel spray out. See that little passageway? The tip of my screwdriver? That little hole? That is at the base of this shaft. So when you spray carburetor cleaner in here, you'll see, like, it was nice and brown first. Carburetor cleaner is supposed to be clear. So it was nice and brown first, and then it became clear the more I sprayed it through. So I just saw like a little steady stream of carburetor cleaner coming out. Then I knew it was clean. Did the same thing to this side, sprayed it through. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to clean more passageways inside the carburetors. You see I have this guitar string. See right here, this little other side of the jet is here. Actually, I can't point with that thing. You can't even see it on the camera. Where my thumb is, you can follow this shaft up, and that's this guy on this side. Right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna poke it through. Okay, so you poke it through, it pokes through nice. It's good. Right, go up and down, you know, get it nice and clean. Do the same thing to this one to the side, because that's the main jet. This one's going to be larger than the other one, so it's probably not going to be that clogged. Because it's the jet size is so large. So stick it in, swirl it around, you know, do the thing. I'm going to go back to this one because it's small. Swirl it around, so I did this one twice and did the main jet one once. Once you've done that, where did I... Oh. I thought I misplaced my carburetor cleaner. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a rag on this side. Alright, and when I spray down, you're going to see carburetor cleaner come out. It might come up too, so watch your eyes. Do you see it coming out of there? I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it is coming out. You can take my word for it. Okay, same thing here. You can see it coming out, splitting the rag. Okay, I'm probably not doing it that good because I gotta hold the camera. Right. So, anyway, so this is everything that came out. I usually spray through both ways, so I'm going to spray through the other way and let it come out of come out of these little jet holes, right? But you do want to make sure that that there is at least some fuel getting through, because if this bike is getting actively ridden, once you have one little passageway going through, the gasoline is actually going to soften up some of the junk, and you can get it out. But carburetor cleaner works a lot better. So I'm going to do the rest of this thing, and then I'm going to start putting it back together. Well, I still gotta clean these the needles, and these little float guys. So I gotta clean these. I gotta clean the tips of those, and I gotta clean this little pin that it pivots on, and make sure there's no dust or anything, any little dirt, any particles or any kind on it. So then I'm gonna start putting them back together. Oh! I almost forgot. There's a little screen. If we take this guy out, I'm going to grab my needle nose pliers. I'm going to pull this out carefully because it is brass. But there should be a screen on the bottom of it. Usually there is a screen. Sometimes they're held in. They have a little screw on the side. Sometimes it has a little screw on the side here that's tightened down and is kind of just holding down the one side of it. But I'm going to grab my needle nose and pull that off.